My commanding officer went undercover as a private, and this happened. I was a specialist at Fort Hood when this new private showed up to our company. His name was Kyle, and something about him seemed off from day one. He was older than most privates, maybe early 30s, said he'd been working construction before joining the army, kept to himself mostly, but he was way too calm during our first sergeant's morning rants. Most new guys looked terrified during formation. Kyle just stood there taking mental notes like he was studying for a test. Our platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Barnes, was notorious for making life miserable. He'd smoke people for no reason, play favorites with certain soldiers, and basically ran the motor pool like his personal kingdom. Everyone complained, but nothing ever changed. Kyle got assigned to our bay, and I noticed he asked a lot of questions. Not the normal, where's the chow hall stuff, more like, how long has that equipment been broken, and does anyone ever check the maintenance logs? Week 2, Barnes caught Kyle's boots weren't shined enough. Made him do push-ups for 30 minutes in front of everyone. Kyle did every single one without complaint. That's when I knew something was weird. New privates always tried to explain or make excuses. This guy just knocked them out like it was nothing. Then Kyle started doing something strange. He'd write stuff down in a little notebook after formation. When I asked him about it, he said he was keeping a journal to remember his army experience. You're documenting getting smoked by Barnes? I asked. Something like that, he said. Week 3, Barnes caught Kyle eating an energy drink during work hours. We weren't supposed to have them in the motor pool. Barnes went ballistic, made Kyle dump out the drink, and assigned him to clean every toilet in the company area. Kyle just nodded and said, "Yes, Sergeant," without any emotion. Later that day, I saw him writing in that notebook again. Things got interesting during week 4. We had a surprise inspection from the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Davis. Barnes was nervous, rushing around making sure everything looked perfect. The colonel walked through, asking random soldiers questions. When he got to Kyle, something weird happened. "Private, what's your name?" the colonel asked. "Private Kyle Anderson, sir." "How are you being treated in this unit, Private Anderson?" "Honestly, sir, not great, but I've been documenting everything." Barnes's face went white. Kyle reached into his cargo pocket and pulled out that notebook, handing it directly to the colonel. The colonel flipped through it for about 2 minutes. His expression got darker with each page. Then he looked at Barnes. "Staff Sergeant, you're dismissed. Report to my office in 1 hour." After Barnes left, the colonel turned back to Kyle. "Good work, Captain." My brain short-circuited. "Captain?" Kyle looked at all of us and said, "Sorry for the deception. I'm Captain Anderson from the Inspector General's office. We've had multiple complaints about this unit, but nobody would go on record. Command needed someone to document what was really happening." Turns out Kyle had been a captain for 6 years. He'd volunteered to go undercover after 3 separate soldiers from our company had filed anonymous complaints about Barnes's behavior. Barnes got relieved from duty that day. We found out later he'd been stealing from the supply room, falsifying maintenance records, and running his own little dictatorship for almost 2 years. Captain Anderson stayed for another week to help transition a new platoon sergeant in. On his last day, he pulled me aside. "You should consider going officer," he said. "You asked good questions and treated the new guy decently. We need more leaders like that." I took his advice. I'm a lieutenant now, and I think about that undercover captain every time I deal with my own soldiers. Leadership isn't about rank, it's about doing what's right even when nobody's watching.